which I said I would never, ever, ever do, leave Southern California for a man, but I did.
Welcome to 10 Minute Travels. With me, as always, is Phil Freeman.
And with me, as always, is Shane Patrick. And today we're going to talk to Nancy Broen, not only a traveler, but also a two-wheeled traveler.
Let's get right to it, shall we?
But at home, Human Factors was kind of fun. And working with Harry was pretty cool because I already knew who he was through my work. Excuse me. And let's see, we're telling the story about getting to Harley.
Then you got into Harley somehow.
Well, I worked at DRI for 14 years. And during that time, later on, I worked on an ISO standard for motorcycle crash testing to test secondary safety devices. And this was a committee of people representing all the motorcycle companies and JAMA and some European motorcycles thing and Harry Hurt. And so in the motorcycle people that were in this committee, there were some Harley representatives. So DRI started working some with Harley. And one day I was standing at the coffee machine and a knock came upon the door at DRI and I opened it. And it was this person named Tom Barry who was there from Harley to meet and talk about a ride quality study that they wanted to do with DRI. And he and I became close. And so I applied for a job at Harley in Human Factors and the Chassis Engineering Division, which I found out about through him. And I moved to Wisconsin to take this job because of a man, which I said I would never, ever, ever do, leave Southern California for a man, but I did because I'm easy. And that job, they gave me projects, little projects, the Buell controls that they were then using for their motorcycle safety classes. And that was supposed to be their women's bike, but it wasn't because the controls were so far away that unless you were 6 foot tall, you couldn't reach the pedals and other small projects. But then we started work on the 2004 Sportster program. So I worked there from 99 to 01. And probably the whole last year, I got put on this Sportster program. And I tried to convince him that they didn't have a motorcycle women could ride comfortably, especially new riders. And if they want to get new riders in, they got to have a bike for them. So they said, well, we got the Buell. Well, you can't reach the controls. So I convinced them that they needed a motorcycle that women entering the motorcycle world could ride. And the only way I could convince them of that was it's also the 50th percentile female is the same size as the 5th percentile male. It's the only way I could get it to happen. So as long as it would fit a man, they would let me work on it. So I got the 1200C and I got to change a whole bunch of stuff. I changed the handlebars from 3/4 inch, which is the standard Harley diameter, to a 1/2 inch, which is easier to hold on to. I changed the rider triangle, which is the shoulders, the knees, and the center of gravity, which is at about the hips. And I brought that all closer together and made it smaller, brought the seat down closer to the ground, made the levers reduce the force requirement and the span to get to them. And that's really all I can remember that we did to that bike.
But
And I
that's a
am,
lot. That's so much change.
it was,
Just the handlebars is huge for people
I
who
thought
don't
so.
ride. That's crazy to think about that a woman had before that had to deal with 50% bigger grip than, yeah, that's amazing.
And it makes your hands tired and
Yeah.
you can't reach the levers. So, I don't know. I left in 2001. I don't know what happened. I'm not a Harley fan, so I didn't follow it. And life goes on, so I followed my next career. But I think it was far enough along where they had to go forward.
And they ended up bringing it to market.
Yes, I think they did. 2004 Sportster 1200C.
Well done.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Phil and I have a friend. Well, we have a couple friends that work in the avalanche industry. One of them is I mean, maybe Mick is 5'3". She's a smaller person, and I heard her talking about when the Avalanche program got a small snowmobile with the big long mountain track, um, and how that specifically for her, and how much better a rider she became immediately just because of like the physics. She didn't have to fight so much.
You can feel it. You can ride it.
Yeah.
You can control it. And you can be comfortable.
Yeah, and Phil and we're both 6'2"-ish, and so we know what it's like to be where it's too small for you, but that's a different kind of uncomfortable than too big for you. Yeah.
Well, I can picture your knees up to your ears.
Right. Yep.
Yeah, that's a problem. Uh, this last ride I went on the Baja, I call it that. I like to name my tours. So, this tour for me was month of Baja. And when I first was riding, I was on the 750 GS the whole time. And we put a lower seat on it right at the shop, but then I had trouble holding it up. And so they lowered the forks for me like an inch, and it made a world of difference. Just a world of difference. That 1 inch, I could control it better. I hated stopping on it because I couldn't, I was on my tippy toes.
Yeah.
And that's not good. So, I'm not good. I'm not young enough or good enough to be on my tippy toes.
Well, I managed to fall over on that bike too because Mexico loves to put gravel on parking lots that are slightly sloped.
Well, I'm so glad that you did that. Thank you.
No problem.
That wasn't a parking lot. And I do think you did that just for me.
No, well, yeah, I fell.
I thank you. I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah, it's good to be comfortable when you're especially on a motorcycle that is a little bit more dangerous than most things, and all the confidence in the world makes the difference when you're traveling.
After my very first tour of MotoQuest, I went and bought a new motorcycle. It was a used motorcycle, but I bought my first F650 GS
Hmm.
because I enjoyed my motorcycle on the MotoQuest tour so much. And I think you were running 650s, maybe 700s then.
Yeah, I think they started 650s and they crept up to 700s and then now 750s, what they're calling it. Basically,
Be
the
nice
same
if
bike.
they would go back to a smaller bike.
I think that they've got that in the plans. We'll see.
You could come out of retirement, Nancy.
Pardon me?
You could come out of retirement,
I
consult for
couldn't
them.
do engineering now if my life depended on it. There's been too much water under that bridge. It's
So-
been 13 years. 12.
That was Nancy Broen, two-wheeled enthusiast, bartender, engineer, all-around interesting lady. If you want to learn more about her or anything else we do at 10 Minute Travels, please check out 10minutretravels.com.
And we want to remind you to make sure that your sense of humor matches your sense of adventure.
And please like, subscribe, and share this podcast on all the platforms.